And if I'm WWE and I'm thinking of Reigns versus Rock, I'm kind of, if I've got to pay Nia Jax to make Rock happy, I'm paying Nia Jax. This is the same scenario, bro.
Or even, and even to your point, to that analogy, even if I accept the big money deal from the woman who had the house, if I know that it's like, you know what, I'm willing to grin and bear this just for that big money contract. However, I will be getting a bunch of different projects,
Right,
extra projects,
right,
to appease and to make me enjoy what I'm an independent contractor
right,
for. I'm an independent contractor because I love painting. So I'll continue to paint for other projects that I'm actually enjoying, because this one, although it's a big money deal, I'm not quite enjoying this one too much. So I'm not going to put all of my stake in this one here.
I swear, Chris, from what we're talking about tonight, everything we've said, bro, it sounds like jail. Like it really does sound like jail. That, I mean, again, bro, like I heard on the show today, like Moxley just spelt it out about being a cattle, and I'm like, who wants to be in that system?
Yeah, 100%, man. So as far as the names are concerned, they released. I mean, they posted the names. So there's a few that I'm going to say that aren't too familiar on the public eye. Trey Baxter, Katrina Cortez, Jeet Rama, Jesse Camilla, and Zeta Ramir. All right. So those are names that, although a lot of people would know them from different indie promotions and things like that, those weren't names that were really public in the eye. All right. So as far as people who are public in the eye, let's just kind of go from people who was public but had the least impression more than to the most impression as far as like airtime and popularity. So let's start with like an Oni Lorcan, for instance. Oni Lorcan, he had a bunch of potential. He was doing some 205 Live stuff. He was teaming up with Danny Burch. They actually even became tag team champions in NXT. He had a bunch of potential. He was like a really kind of Boston brawler type of feel to him. As far as like, because I'm thinking about all of these names that I'm about to say, and would they be able to just on the fly, on the cuff, without any issues, and just transition right on to like an Impact or an AEW. Oni Lorcan, I don't see just a transition to AEW for sure. Maybe an Impact, but I just don't see it with Oney Lorcan. You're not even really familiar with him from NXT.
I know of him, bro. Hopefully, though, he's got a friend at AEW that can get him in.
I mean, hopefully so.
Hopefully, he knows somebody on the food chain over there that can get him a job.
True. So let's go with a Mia Yim. Let's talk about Mia Yim. All right, Mia Yim. She really had an impression in Ring of Honor. So she was super. She met her name in Ring of Honor. She, Prince Nana back in the Embassy days. I remember following her then. That's when she first came into the business. She was more like a valet for Ring of Honor. And then she ended up, honing her craft there more. She really became super popular when she was in Impact. Impact was really her bread and butter. She was teaming up, she was in a stable, and she really honed her craft very well in Impact. She was one of the Impact. Impact always really had a good women's division. You know what I mean? And when she was there too with Terrell, they had a stable, and it was really cool. I really liked the stable as far as they're utilizing her. She really had an opportunity to do a lot of matches and really gain her popularity there, earn some really good stock there. That transitioned over to an opportunity to compete in the WWE. See, her NXT stint was cool, but she had her ups and downs. She had opportunities to have title matches and things like that, but her stock in NXT didn't really rise that well. She was a decent baby face, But then they put her into this retribution stuff. And the retribution gimmick just was DOA, basically. It was just, I kept saying when we would do the Legion of Raws every single week, I kept saying the payoff better be big for this. Like the payoff really better, because if the payoff is not big for this, as far as who the mastermind behind this is, it is going to fall flat on his face. And although Mustafa Ali being the mastermind wasn't a terrible idea, it didn't, the payoff didn't equate all the build up and destroying a whole bunch of stuff. So unfortunately with Nia Jax, she was really a victim of that being DOA. And then there was some talks about when she competed one week and her mask came off.
Yeah, I think that was the first week too, bro.
Yeah,
was the first week too.
So yeah, BM is, she's gone. So what are your thoughts on her being gone?
Bro, like I tell you what, that's from what I saw of the women's division at AEW. They just bring in a lot of women, and a lot of women come and go, and they really aren't making stars out of the women. I guess the biggest star you would say they have there is probably Britt Baker.
Yeah.
But so could I see her being one of 10 other girls that they bring in to compete? Yeah, like I can see that. I mean, much like a role of Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott's not going to be a big star at AEW. She's going to be another female wrestler that can work.
Yeah.
So I could see her getting in at that level.
Yeah.
But that's, to me, that's pretty much the wall right there.
Sure. I think for Mia, I think that she'll probably find a home back in Impact. I think that'll probably be what's next for her, because she made a really good impression in Impact. And I think for the women's division, because I know Kiera Hogan and she's kind of dabbling and doing her AEW thing too, but not really doing her, not being pushed well. I definitely think I can definitely see Mia Yim go back to Impact and make an impact, pun intended. So I can see a transition with her. I don't think the transition out of the WWE, it won't be as difficult for her because she made such a good impression in Impact. Speaking of women's wrestlers, Nia Jax. I mean, I don't have to give much of a backdrop with Nia Jax as far as what she's done, former Raw Women's Champion. But the problem with Nia Jax is that she was notorious for botching spots and not being very safe in the ring. I think that more than anything was what really jacked her up.
She's what's her relation to The Rock?
Cousin, I believe.
That's what surprises me.
Yeah.
That's what surprises me. I mean, bro, I don't care if the woman has messed up 1,000 times. I don't know how that plays to The Rock. And if I'm WWE and I'm thinking of Reigns versus Rock, I'm kind of, if I've got to pay Nia Jax to make Rock happy, I'm paying Nia Jax. So like that was the only thing that I was like, that's gotta, I mean, that's Rock's cousin there,
I think maybe they kept her because of that. I would say that they probably they were wanting to get rid of her for a long time ago. She kept making mistake after mistake.
Now, who's the big woman at AEW?
So Jade Cargill, or you have
Rose.
Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
See, they could make that work. That could work. That could work. And bro, I'm telling you,
a stable or a feud?
A feud.
Okay.
But if they did it reality based, I would do that 100% reality based. That could work.
Yeah.
But I don't see them doing that. They're gonna, but for whatever reason, we're not gonna say anything, even though everybody knows we're not gonna. That could be huge if done correctly.